Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to run a couple things by you real quick. Let him know I'm here still, and you as well. And by him, I mean George Lucas, just so you know. Um, I just had another friend pass away. He took three of those, you know, things, and he went in the hospital and died. Um, Here's the thing. I've been thinking about this. When you look at, and that's the title of this video, The One Thing. The one thing that sets Star Wars apart. And I want to go over something else a little bit here in a minute. You look at Star Wars, how many things in it were completely unique? I mean, nobody had ever done them before. Not as many as you think, okay? And that's where this video is coming in, okay? A lot of his stuff again is plagiarized, and I'll show you a couple of them right here. Okay, now start thinking about this, okay? He took everything in Star Wars and from someone else, plagiarized the whole thing, okay? So here's the question. What set it apart from like Lost in Space, Star Trek, any of those other space movies? What set it apart? The one thing that set it apart was Jedi Knight. And where did he get it from? He stole it from a disabled 7-year-old kid. I wasn't completely disabled then, but I had just, really started getting to where I was learning to run and walk again. Again, because I've told you in the other videos, as I told you, I was burned severely as a child. A lot of the burn went down my right side. I had to kind of learn. One of my big things is when I was running and stuff, is I had been tied face down with my hands tied down. The only thing that was loose, I don't remember if they said it was my right or left leg. One of my legs was left loose. The other one was tied down as well. So both my hands. And the reason for that is because my flesh was so cooked that I got back there one time. I got my hand loose and I pulled a piece of skin off. I mean, a big piece. So that tells you, because I was just a little younger then, I didn't, know as much. But something about getting injured at that age, I think, really kind of wakes up your memory sooner, and some people don't understand that. But then again, once I forgot about it in 1974, and then went to the movie with my dad in 1977, I completely forgot it for 22 years until 1999, and then I didn't even really totally remember until the year 2000. But that's the one thing that sets it apart, Jedi Knight. He didn't come up with that at all. He took it from a 7-year-old kid. I've showed you where I lived. I showed you where his cousin lived. If any of this weren't true, I wouldn't know all these things. You see, if it wasn't true, I wouldn't know where his cousin lived. I wouldn't have took the time to go search for him. Okay, because I had to go to and I did it online to the. Actually, I did it through the regular mail. Ordered copies of the Suburban. It's called the Suburban Directory that they had, which was like a phone book, I guess, in every way, but they had like a little bit more information, I think, in a minute, because it showed your address and your phone number, everything. I don't know, did the phone books used to have that? I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen a real phone book. Anyway, twice. The first time I ordered the copies of the Suburban Directory for what I was looking for, because I was looking for someone named Lucas. Now, why would I be searching for that name? Because I know who had what I had, right? I already know it was George Lucas now because I've seen the movie since. But how would I know that his cousin's name was Lucas? Or why would I be looking for someone also named Lucas? It's because I thought his cousin might have the same name. See? So I went back and I got records from up till, because I was thinking he might have lived there a little longer than I wasn't sure. So I ordered records from 72 to 73. Well, I had to go back and order them again, which is where they just they make photocopies of the pages of the Suburban Directory, and you can pay the library to do that, and they'll mail them to you, okay? And that's what I did. I paid, and the second time I paid, I said, okay, this time instead of looking for that name, let's look at this address. These addresses right here. So I knew exactly what I was looking for. I wouldn't have found Jack Hamburger. I wouldn't have found him, and I wouldn't have finally figured out who it was, because now I've remembered more and more. And you know, you may not understand that it took me over 22. Now it's been 48 years to remember the whole thing. You know, but I was 7 years old. You know, you may not care, you may not understand it. I don't really care. I don't care what you think. The truth is the truth, and it always finds a way to come out. I'm not a crazy person. I don't make up things. I don't say things about people that are false. I may not be a church every Sunday person, but I do believe in God enough that I've always tried to keep at least don't do this. And bearing false witness is one of those things I've never done to anyone, okay? He took John Knights in the Force from me by getting me to his house in 1974, his cousin's house, Jack Hamburger, who lived at 5707 Robinwood Road. I don't know why I keep doing that. His cousin lived at 5707 Robinwood Road. Now, if you could draw a circle, I'm like over here, and he's like over here. I mean, we're straight around the corner from each other, you know. It was about 400 feet, you know. But that's how I finally figured it out, because I kept looking at the addresses on the street by going to Google Maps and everything, going, okay, it's got to be one of these streets, one of these houses here. And I look, and I went back, and I kept looking at the names, and I kept looking at the names that were on those streets in 1974. And that's when I finally figured out. Now, if I'm wrong, if I was wrong, and if I didn't know what I was looking for, how would I know this person named Jack Hamburger was his cousin? Secondly, if, in fact, he is George Lucas's cousin, how would I even know that? You know what I'm saying? If some kid named Jack Hamburger was George Lucas's cousin, how would I know that? I don't have a list of files on him. I'm not the FBI. Well, that's another story, because you've seen in my other videos me talking about that. My newest other thing I wanted to bring up real quick was I heard a rumor that George Lucas is buying Star Wars back from Disney. And that's got me puzzled. I'm like, okay, then who has my evidence? If they use my evidence to blackmail him into selling Star Wars to them, then who has it? If they have it, I mean, maybe they're going to give him the evidence back, or maybe they're going to hold on to it in case they ever decide they want to do it again. If they're going to make another run to screw up Star Wars more. I don't know. Somebody has my piece of evidence, and everything from my childhood, including my diploma, my medical records, my vaccination book, all of it was in that document sleeve, along with that piece of evidence that said Jedi Knights in the Force. And I haven't even started on the Force, and the reason for that is because Lee Brackett and Edmund Hamilton had a Force too, and Lee Brackett may have ghostwritten part of Star Wars, or maybe all three of them, I don't know. So their Force, I didn't know anything about their Force, and their books like date back all the way to 1933, and I didn't know nothing about them. So until I discovered a channel called The Star Killer, and he's got a video. You can go watch it right now. It's called Did Lee Brackett Ghostwrite Star Wars? So if you look at how old that video is, you can see I couldn't have discovered it before it came out, obviously. And I didn't know anything about Lee Brackett and Edmund Hamilton until I saw his video. And it's kind of shocking and eye-opening. And here's the thing, is when you look at what he's got and what I've put up in my videos, if you don't think something's wrong, there's something wrong with you. And I'm not kidding. I'm not being mean. I'm just telling you. I'm trying to tell you the truth. That's all. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. I told you, I'm not trying to get his money. I want to see him come out and tell the truth about where he got Jedi Knight. I want to hear him say it. Now, the Force, he may have heard me say it, and that was part of what he got from me. But he also probably heard it from Lee Brackett, Edmund Hamilton. So then I backed off of maybe that a little, but that's still, I'm not, I guess Edmund Hamilton did call it the Force in one of his books. But I don't think, theirs wasn't the same thing. And when he asked me on the phone, when he got me on the phone, he asked me what it was, and I told him it's the will of God. So that's all I really wanted to say, and I'm just curious about how he's buying Star Wars back from Disney. Go figure. And then he called them white slavers before, so what's he call them now? I don't know. This is just a curious thing. I'm still wondering where my evidence is, and I want my stuff back. I'll keep wanting my stuff back because that's my records from my childhood. You understand? My stuff, mine. I want my diploma back. I want my vaccination book back. I want my stuff back. And I would say I want the evidence back, but I'm sure I'll never see that again. But I want my other stuff back. Unless you destroyed it, I don't know what you did with my stuff. But that's part of me, my stuff my whole life. My mother held onto those books. Anyway, y'all take care.